Hello and welcome back to the bar. Now, a couple of weeks ago, or I suppose a couple of months ago at this point, I tasted 25 different vodka infusions with Skittles, and it was, it really pushed me to my limit. But I promised I would take all 25 flavours and try my best to make a cocktail out of every single one. And today we're going to start with the absolute worst one we tested, which was the raspberry smoothie flavour, which now looks rather demonic because it's been in the freezer. I don't know how well you can see that, but that doesn't look nice. Anyway, without further ado, let's get drunk. Now, before we actually make the cocktail, I wanted to taste it. Well, I didn't want to taste it again. I felt like I should taste it again. Jesus. I'm not going to do too much because I haven't got a huge amount left. And I've got some stuff over here that I want to try as well. But instead of just go, nah, tastes like shit, I've decided I'm going to try and give each one a score out of 10 on 5 different categories. Flavour, so the nah, it's shit part. Harshness. Similarity to the actual Skittle. Colour and smell. So right off the bat, colour, it's got to be a 0 really, because it's not clear, but it's not got a colour, it's just looks like cum, let's be honest. It doesn't smell much better, but I think I remember one of the Skittle the smoothie flavours smelling worse. So I'll give it a 1 for smell, just because I think there can be worse, but in terms of colour, I don't think there is any worse than this. These are the raspberry smoothie Skittles from a packet I bought yesterday, so they better taste good. They're actually not as good as I remember them being, but I can only stall for so long. Similarity to the Skittle is a 1 because it's just not there. I say 1 because there's a hint of sweetness, which I guess these are sweet, so it does count. But in terms of like actual raspberry flavour, I just don't really get anything. Harshness, it's like an 8 because it is one of the harsher ones we had. And flavour, 3 because it's not quite as bad as I remember it being. It's not good, but it's not as bad as I remember it being. So we'll go with a 3. Now, I've done these the wrong way around. Whoops. I also wanted to try the vodka itself with a couple of other things before we go straight into making a cocktail with it. So here we've got lemonade and some tonic water and lime juice, and we're going to try them with these 2 mixers. We're going to do very small versions of these because, again, I haven't got much left, but I'm hoping this will give us a more rounded idea of what it tastes like, and we'll give each of these a score out of 10 as well. So for the vodka and lemonade, which would be my choice to mix vodka with, we'll do a 1:3 ratio, so we'll do half an ounce of this to 1.5 ounces of lemonade. Now instantly we can all see that it looks like shit because the colour looks like shit, and it's got an incredibly overpowering smell. Like, the lemonade that I'm using isn't exactly like weak in terms of lemon, so it is definitely a strong smell because that's all I'm getting. It's like a 2 out of 10. It's really bad. It tastes entirely like kind of lemonade that I've just stuck some artificial sweetener in. You don't get any raspberry whatsoever. It overpowers the lemon, which is the nice part of the lemonade, obviously, and leaves you with just the shit Skittle flavour. So that's a 2 out of 10. because it could be marginally worse, but not much worse. With this other one, we're going to make what I was always told was a gimlet, but I've recently discovered it's actually not a gimlet. We'll do equal parts lime juice and tonic water with 2 times the amount of vodka, which I was always told was a vodka gimlet, but it's apparently not, so I'm just going to call it a vodka tonic. I splashed out and bought the expensive tonic water. Not that I think it'll make the tonic water taste any better than tonic water does, because it tastes like shit. But you know, some people are into it. I'm spilling this all down these glasses. It's not going well. Christ. That was the most unsatisfying pop for the most difficult thing I've ever done. So what I meant to say there is we'll do half an ounce of our tonic water and lime juice and an ounce of vodka. And that should leave us with just enough to make the cocktail, other than all of the, the full half ounce I basically just poured on the mat there. And all down the side of the glass. Okay, that actually smells really nice. The lime juice, because it's obviously lime juice, fresh lime juice has a very strong smell, does a very good job of covering up that raspberry shit Skittle smell. And all in all, I mean, it doesn't taste like a huge amount, because all you really get out of this is a bit of sweetness, which is entirely outbalanced by the bitterness of the tonic and the bitterness of the lime. So all in all, it tastes pretty good because you can't taste any of this. That's not what I'm looking for when I'm making one of these. Like a vodka tonic, I should be able to taste the flavour of the vodka. So it's still got to be a 2, because there's just not any flavour. And the smell's still there, which, all round not great. But yeah, let's go on to the main event. So the cocktail that I've planned for today does use the blender. Now, I don't want to awaken any fear, it's not a slushy cocktail. Never doing that again, but I figured, seeing as it's the raspberry smoothie Skittle, we just kind of commit to that and make a raspberry smoothie with raspberry smoothie vodka. It makes sense in my head, alright? We'll go with it. So first off, we'll do 2 ounces of our Skittle vodka, which, I mean, it better be all of it. It's not even all of it. Every last drop, because we need more of it in there. I've got some frozen fruit here, which we've got strawberries, which are not so frozen anymore, some blueberries, and some raspberries. We'll try and not spill it. I only managed to drop 1, so I'm taking that as a win. Now normally, if I were making a smoothie, I would just go in with as much apple juice as looked right. Whoops, it's a bit full. But because we're, being scientific about it, we're going to go in with, we'll go in with 4 ounces to begin with, and add to that when we need to. Calm down. I've got things to say first. Yeah, fuck it. You know what? It's actually ended up at a little bit thin, in fact. So maybe 3 ounces of apple juice would have been enough. Not that I recommend you make this drink, because I don't even recommend you make this fucking Skittle infusion, because it's shit. It's not worth your time or effort. I did forget to bring the glass on with me. Could have definitely done with a bit more fruit in there, because I intended for that to fill the glass. It looks like a smoothie, so it looks quite tasty actually. And it smells good. But weirdly enough, You know what? No, not weirdly, because it was fully fucking expected because of how shit this is. You can still smell the fucking Skittle through it. Not even a handful of frozen fruit and apple juice can mask the scent of this shit. So, fucking cheers. It's actually quite nice. I don't think I ever mentioned, in regards to the harshness score, the higher the score is the worse, because I don't like harshness. So maybe some people do, not for me. And that's the only negative thing about this, because the only real thing you get from this is a little bit of sweetness and just harsh. So the sweetness will play into the fact that we've got apple juice. I mean, it's from concentrate, so it's not entirely sweet. But you do have the apple juice and you do have the frozen fruit, so there is already that natural sweetness. So the fact that this has then got more sweetness kind of works for this. But then obviously you do get that harshness from the vodka, which is not particularly amazing. But all in all, it's pretty good. Like, I was expecting so much worse. It's definitely better than the last time I used the fucking blender, which if you haven't seen that, I'll put, I don't know which side it's on. Just the camera flip. It'll be in one of these corners up here somewhere with the little eye, and it will take you to my, what the fuck did I call that cocktail? Ice Pop Prime? Frozen Prime? Prime Pop Slushy? I don't know. The really shit cocktail that it just didn't work. I mean, this is a smoothie that I make for myself, you know, occasionally, with just a handful of frozen berries and apple juice. And it does taste exactly like that, with harshness. So all in all, it's pretty good. I'd have to give it like a 7 out of 10, which is the highest score it's received this entire video, other than harshness, but that was bad. So I'm gonna wait for people to stop walking past my room.
Frosty Prime Pop.
Frosty Prime Pop. It was called the Frosty Prime Pop. So if I forget to put a link out it somewhere, because I definitely will, just search Frosty Prime Pop on the channel. It was the most, biggest fail of a cocktail I've ever made. What I was trying to say is, I'm going to go and drink this because it's actually quite nice. But please do remember, always drink responsibly, and more importantly, do as I say, not as I do. Cheers.